God calls human beings to participate in a divine mission in the world. We each discover, or are called to, our own way of caring for the earth and its inhabitants. People of God are aware of the many needs of the world and may ask from time to time, is this how God is calling me to respond, to act, to speak, or to serve? The Church has created an order for affirming particular calls to serve in the interest of that divine mission. The ministry of deacons and deaconesses, also called ministers of word and service, are recognized by churches throughout history and around the world. The earliest deacon of the Bible was Stephen. The ELCA continues to seek to honor the significance of deacons serving at the intersection of church and world, bringing a sharper focus to the ways the church responds to the needs of people.
The history of lay involvement in full-time ministry as a vocation is long and varied, but it took 200 years for lists of specific lay people to emerge. In the 1824 to 1924 printed history of the South Carolina Synod, there is a hint at the important role lay people played. By 1924, hundreds of women served and gave many hours in church work. As the church grew and ministry tasks increased, lay leaders were involved through women's organization and other groups. The growing need for assistance led the church to seek out these and other women leaders to assist in teaching, administration, programs for children and youth, and music roles. By the early 1960s, there were lay people, mostly women, known to be serving or preparing for service in South Carolina congregations and beyond. These were pre-roster days. The Board of American Mission of the Lutheran Church in America was experiencing a decline in many of its mission congregations, so they recruited laypersons to work in short-term assignments to help congregations get back on track. This opened the door for those who did not feel called to ordained ministry. As congregational ministry and programming increased, the need for ministry assistance increased. Some large congregations called 2 or more ordained pastors, each with unique tasks. A few called deaconesses. Others were looking to other lay people. At the same time, lay people, responding to the church's call to church vocations, were recognizing a sense of call to a full-time church vocation. A growing emphasis on Christian education, youth work, and music ministry opened doors for laypersons to full-time ministry leadership roles. The terms Director of Christian Education, Parish Worker, Church School, Teachers, and Musicians were often used as titles. A plan for church occupations was formed to support lay leaders with training and placement. There were established requirements and guides for certified lay professionals as full-time lay leaders. A lay roster was established.
As the LCA ended, and with the anticipated formation of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, the lay rosters of all 3 church bodies were frozen until the ELCA could make roster decisions. These 3 church bodies included the Lutheran Church in America, the American Lutheran Church, and the Association of Evangelical Lutheran Churches. When the ELCA was formed in 1988, it inherited 1,300 officially recognized lay ministers from the rosters of these 3 merging bodies. Those on the inherited rosters had a variety of educational backgrounds, including some with theological training. Their roles included Christian education, teaching in Lutheran schools, organist and choir masters, church secretaries, church administrators, and other church-related disciplines. The ELCA wasted no time in beginning a ministry study. A temporary roster, called Associates in Ministry, was created so people could still graduate from seminary, decide to do ministry, and still have some kind of roster from the 3 emerging churches, with the exception of deaconesses. There were concerns that the understanding of the lay roster had become compromised because of the inconsistent training, roles, standards, and requirements. So a diaconal ministry was established. However, this still left the church with three lay rosters: deaconesses, associates in ministry, and diaconal ministers. And this was how the lay rosters were defined until 2016, when the next change occurred. The church continued to discuss, review, revise, enhance, and clarify the role of laypersons in full-time church vocations. After a great deal of study, the ELCA approved the consolidation and formation of two rosters: Word and Sacrament, which included pastors, and Word and Service, now known as deacons. Paralleling the practice of many other Lutheran church bodies in the global communion, the entrance rite into both these rosters is now the same: ordination. So for the last 50 years, and especially since early 1960s, lay leaders have been supported and nurtured for their tasks. Their titles changed 4 times over the last half century, from parish workers and DCEs to lay professionals, to associates in ministry and diaconal ministers, to ministers of word and service, or deacons.
Deacons, also known as ministers of word and service, share the hope of Christ and help others find healing and justice. They serve in a variety of roles, including youth and family ministry, justice ministry, chaplaincy, faith-based nonprofit work, and more. To become a deacon in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, you must meet the following requirements: earn a Master's of Arts in Diaconal Ministry by completing 2 years of coursework and 6 months full-time or 1 year part-time internship. At the same time, you will be participating in a formal candidacy process, which evaluates your faith, teaching, leadership, and other qualities.
At this time in the South Carolina Synod, there are 10 retired and 17 active deacons and 4 deaconesses. We serve in a variety of calls: in congregations as children and youth ministers, Christian education ministers, ministers of faith formation, music ministers, and organists. We serve in Lutheran organizations such as Lutheran Conference and Retreat Centers and the Synod Office. We also serve in government and for-profit organizations.
The Deaconess community is an intentional organization of women that has served the Lutheran Church since 1884. We are called to congregations, synods, and other services within the ELCA and in the ELCIC in Canada. My call is to congregational service. Most of my ministry has included serving in congregations and in a variety of other venues, including synods, publishing, and serving in the ELCA office in Chicago. Although I am retired, I volunteer in my home church, St. Barnabas Lutheran, in Charleston. As a community, we are engaged in mutual accountability, faithful study, and prayer. We build partnerships by advocating and educating together. We are compelled by the love of Christ and sustained by community. We gather in assembly every year. We offer a diaconal ministry course in history, spirituality, and formation every year in January through Luther Seminary. If you are interested in learning more, you may contact the Synod office for my phone number and address.
We welcome the opportunity to answer your questions and explore what opportunities are available to you for preparation and serving in the church in this new age.